this element. Good. But then today we are just looking at the main concepts of React. So let us not focus on the design now. I hope you are on the same page with me, those who are doing it. Let's say you want to also render another thing on the page. So I'm going back to our header section, and then let's say we have, you want to display your name. So in here I'll put a div element and then say my name is, okay, then I'll say hola. Then I'll get that displayed at the bottom there. It's not so great, but you can see that. So I've created a div in the header. It can also be in the app section here, but then I'm doing that in the header. So I have displayed my name here. This name I have displayed here is static, okay? So I can rather use a dynamic content. I can use a dynamic content to display my name. So for instance, in here I can create a variable called const name equals hola, and then I can pass that value name here using this curly brace. So when I save, I still have that displayed. Let's say I add my last name here, and then I save, that would also be rendered, right? So in JavaScript, in React, you can actually declare variables, and then you use those variables to actually simulate, like send in dynamic data, dynamic content into the HTML content you have actually defined, or elements you have actually defined here. Likewise, I can also perform some computations here as well. I can use this to display numbers like 167, and when I save, that is not going to be my name though. So I can do this 167, right? And then I can also do, let's say 9 plus 7 here. Let me render that, and you can see the total has been rendered. So this section becomes a dynamic a JavaScript, right? It actually executes this contents in the curly brace here in a form of a JavaScript file. So you can actually pass in values, perform calculations, put up the results, perform logics here. But then there's one thing you can pass in here. Let's see if I pass a boolean here, true. It won't be rendered on the page, okay? The true value will not be rendered on the page. So that is what you have to take note of. It is actually the values, numbers, strings, you pass in there, then they will be rendered. Now I made you install I made you install an icon. Okay, so let us also import an external file that you have actually installed into our code. So let's see one implementation here. Assuming we want to create a user icon at the side of our navbar here. We want to create a user icon at the side of our navbar at the left side. We would just simply go in here. Let me take off this part for now. We will simply, later we'll be using states, okay, to actually render data, dynamic data into our HTML, this block of code. So we'll talk about the different types of hooks we have in React, and then how we can implement some of these hooks to actually render data in our React component. But then I want us to do this. We have installed, those who were not here earlier, we have installed React icons here. It's a library we installed. So you go to npm we did npm install React icons, and then it installed this React icons for us. Now when you look at this place, this is, and then you go to Google, you will see the React icons here. These types are very nice, I want to use. And so we just went to Google. We just went to Google and then typed React icons, and then we selected the very first one here. And then we have these different types of icons you can use in React, but then we want to use this colored types. So we clicked on the flat color icons, and then it brought us to this page. Now it's telling us that after we have installed the React icons, you can see in the documentation here it says we should import the icon name. So when you click on each icon, you will see a name from the React icons /fc. So this is the flat icon. FC is for the flat icons. So let me use this person here. When I click on this person, you can see it says FC businessman. But then to use that, you need to import this. So you can copy this, okay, and then when we go to the nav here, we will put it at the top. So we have imported that. So you can type import, and then we are destructuring it, picking only the FC businessman from the React icons /fc, because it has so many icons in there, but then we are only picking this one. So we can also trail it up and pick different types from that particular library. And then when you go back, it says to use it, you just call it like the way you call a component. So you copy that FC businessman, and then would insert it somewhere here. Let me create another inline element span, okay, and then put that component inside it. So I've created a span element and I'm putting this inside it. So let me save it and see. Maybe we need to do some little styling, but take note, we want to copy this, import curly brace FC businessman from into quotes React icons /fc, and then to use that, we referenced to this name like the way we reference HTML element names or a component, a React component. Now let's see the result of what we have. So you can see some tiny human showing up at the left side of my component, right? My navbar. And there are so many icons. There are so many icons you can use in React. So I've showed you the different types there. When you click, it will give you, we'll go and then look at one or two, and then that should be a stepping stone to at least having the knowledge, the base knowledge, to be able to implement that. So let's see, I think in the documentation, let's see, we can use size, okay, and the size we can use something like let me use 24px, and then it requires that we do some little styling. So why not, instead of defining the size here, I would rather do this. So let me give it a class name, okay, a class name of let me call it FCBS icon. FCBS icon, business icon also, or businessman icon. Or instead of bringing an icon, I can do FCBSM, which is businessman, right? So that's going to be the class name. So let's do this. We'll go into the style sheet. Go into the style sheet and then apply the styling we want from there. Let me pull this thing and even close this for the meantime. So we'll target this element. Oh, sorry. FCBSM, font size is gonna be 24px, and then let's display inline block, right? So we can give it a width of 50 or 40px, and let me give it a margin right, of, let's say, 50px. I want to move it far away from this thing, and then if possible make it a bit bigger. So let me make it 34 and see. Okay, but you can see it's actually pushing the other stuffs, even though I have centered that, because I placed it as a separate element in the same container. So it's pushing these elements out. So let me see the arrangement. Finish with this. Let's see, look at the arrangement. Okay, so let me go into the nav and see. because